Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the DreamHack Open 2015 Stockholm. We are halfway through the quarterfinals as we have advanced a Zerg and a Terran. We get closer and closer to crowning again another DreamHack Open champion. Boys, it's been an exciting day. We just saw some Terran dominance.
I love this footage, by the way. It sounds like you're flying a chopper and just like...
I would love
Welcome to Stockholm, guys.
you don't know that's actually one of my secret dreams is to fly a helicopter. We'll get there one day.
Someday.
Host from the helicopter.
I could do it, man. The parachute down, do the intro, have the stage out right in front of
Thaddeus
square.
floats into the panel hosting role from the skies after we introduce the show from the sky.
Yeah, we'd do it. It'd be a great way to open the show.
That's Stasis' dream as well, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, pretty cool series that we have coming up here. SOS, a guy who's on fire, who won a tournament not too long ago over in USA. That tournament was crazy. He made Innovation and Solar look like noobs.
He squealed.
Seriously, like he just crushed them completely in semifinals and finals. And he just reversed all kill. I mean, SOS, is there anybody that can stop him here? And can Curious be the guy?
Yeah, he's looking in really good shape, especially because the biggest tournament of the year is just around the corner. It's the perfect time to have that form.
Yeah.
Especially because he's, it's a $100,000 tournament again. He's got to be in form for that. But this is where it's going to be very difficult for Curious to go up against a player who's playing the best we've seen him play in quite a while.
Yeah, and Curious is a world-class Zerg player, but I always felt that ZVP is not his matchup. Like, obviously he has chances over here. I'm not saying that he has no chance, but in a ZVZ or a ZVT, I always like Curious. It's very easy to put your money on him. In a ZVP against the likes of SOS, a Zest or even a Rain when he's in shape and stuff, I'm not really the biggest fan of Curious, so to speak.
It's a tough matchup for him, for sure. And we can take a look at the bracket. We can see how we got here so far. Curious to get here defeated Cyril as well as DeMuslim, so we can't really say that he's also had the most difficult path compared to the other players here.
He did take out DeMuslim, though.
DeMuslim was a big pickup for him, for sure. Apart from that, not the hardest to root.
Not as many Koreans in this quadrant of the bracket, though, because I don't feel SOS hasn't also had to take out any Koreans yet in his path here in the bracket stage.
We're really milking this joke, by the way, with Curious.
No, it's true though. If you look, statistically wise, as far as performances go, taking out Zanster and Harstam is much bigger results, at least comparatively for SOS to Curious getting to this point.
Now it's the big game time.
Also, guys, like in the start of this tournament, we were all talking about Protoss and how this could very well be, good old Protoss party. Yeah. Like we've seen a couple of them in the past where we have 3, maybe even 4 Protoss in the top 8. When you have Rain, when you have Liquid Hero, who in generally does very well. DreamHack, of course, Hero's not as hot as he used to be, but still, when Hero came into this tournament, I kind of had high hopes. Maybe a little bit unfortunate. He ran into Rain in the round of 64, I believe it was, or 32. But right now, only 1 Protoss remaining. It is SOS though, so no Protoss tears to be shed just yet. But I'm starting to get a little bit worried for our Protoss brothers.
I don't know, man. I feel like he's still the favorite to win the whole thing, though.
I agree with you, but SOS is going to carry the torch for all Protoss players all the way to the finals, I think. As good as Curious was when he won the last DreamHack tournament, as good as he is as a player, because he is world-class, as you said, but it's SOS. He's a god. And
it's not just the DreamHack that Curious won, though. It's not too long ago that he made it into the semi-finals of the GSL, which was also the first time in like forever for Curious to have a run that deep. So definitely a very successful summer and now spring for Curious, but like you guys said, SOS is a different type of player.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting when you compare like who everyone is putting their money on for going forward in this tournament, and the strongest player coming out for the Protoss, of course, being SOS. But Realities, I think, has done a really good job of carrying that torch for the Terrans, because we're not really sure how he was going to play coming into this. But those Zergs, man, I think still a lot of people hoping for Hyun to move through. Do we look at either of these players and say they have a better chance? I kind of obviously want to say SOS is the clear favorite, but I think can Curious upset?
I think SOS is the favorite to take the entire tournament by far. I mean, I'm quite excited to watch SOS play because he doesn't play like any other Protoss player. He's got such a unique style and can do anything and has such a large variety of build orders and strategies. He's capable of absolutely anything. And for me especially, that's the type of player I love to see play. And I can't wait to see what he could do anything. He can actually do anything.
But Curious, though, we shouldn't forget how good he is at the same time. Like, this is our last DreamHack winner. Like, his manager was back there in the booth with him, ready to pop the champagne once again. Like, we all for him over again. So, yeah.
But I do like what Sean said there. SOS is not just an unpredictable Protoss. It seems whatever he does, he always makes it work. He's the type of guy that will always proxy a Dark Trend and he won't get spotted. It's just so silly, you know. Whenever you try to do it as an ordinary ladder guy out there, it's like, oh, there's one link tapping away at your pylons. Like, oh god, you know, he knows. And then by the time your Dark Trend is almost done, 20 more links show up, and you're like, damn it. But whenever SOS does it, it just goes undetected. And especially in Seattle, he had a couple of very cool play with the rocks and stuff.
I have an even better example. Like, I tried to copy some of his builds where he went for DTs back in the MSI tournaments. When I was at WCS and I got Petraeus on ladder, and I did that, and I was like, hey, it's going to go like SOS, right? I'm going to kill the rocks, then kill his base. My DTs literally walked into roaches and an overseer. And I rage quit the game instantly.
Do you guys, a lot of tears to be shed as well, trying to emulate the play of these guys. We are ready to hear from them, though they're on the main stage with In Control. What's going on?
Whoa, hold your horses, Nathanius. They're not here yet. First, we must welcome them to the stage. SOS and Curious.
It's that Boston shit.
Gentlemen. There we go. SOS, people are calling you now the strongest player. The last time we said that, Rain did end up getting defeated pretty hard. I'm going to ask you if you have any words of advice for your opponent, Curious.
제가 많이 졌어가지고 이번에도 최선을 다해서 전혀 방심하지 않고 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
So I've lost a few games earlier, so I'm going to do my best and win this time.
Okay, excellent. Sure, guys, never be shy about clapping. All right, we're okay with that. Curious, really strong words coming out from SOS over there. You, of course, are a defending DreamHack champion. You've been here before. You've won it all. Do you have any words of advice for SOS? I'm looking for you to pretend that you want him to win or something like that. That's what we're looking for.
네, 그래서 이제 여기 드림핵 우승자이시기도 하면서 여기 SOS한테 한마디 해주고 싶어요.
그냥 뭐 할 말은 그렇게 뭐 없고요. 그냥 재미있는 게임 했으면 좋겠고 올라가는 건 제가 올라갈게요.
So actually, I don't have any other words except let's have some fun games, and I'll be going to the semifinals.
Ah, all right. Very good. SOS, Curious, please shake hands. Very good. And go to your booths. All right, guys. Let's do this.
No words of advice for each other. Guys, this neither of these players want to help the other out.
I would have been a little surprised if SOS had Curious make sure to make some sport crawlers. I will open up with DTs. So.
He's like, you best get that mothership core because I'm going to attack you pretty early, so prepare yourself.
That would be fun. You know, way to switch it up, but very unlikely to ever happen.
Yeah, I like it, you know.
It was actually very interesting back in Seattle. Like, SOS was using a lot of Dark Templars builds, and then going into the grand finals against Solar, he knew that Solar was going to be getting ready. So in the first 2 games, he didn't go for Dark Templars, and then Solar went for Blind Spores, which were useless. He went for Gateway Attacks, killed him. And then comes the 3rd game, SOS goes DTs. There is Spores, but SOS somehow, like Roddy said, he always finds a way to make it work. Goes for a snipe on the Spore, gets it, and then wins the game.
This picture looks like Curious just got arrested.
For what would it have been, though, if he got arrested?
For being... No, I don't know.
Hey, Curious is a pretty nice guy.
Yeah,
I can't really throw anything. I mean, you could say SOS, like, oh, you know, cheese too many times, dirty Protoss, et cetera, et cetera. But that's the magic about SOS, isn't it? He has this X factor where he really can make anything work. If you're curious, how do you go in with a clear enough mindset that you don't get caught off guard trying to play the mind games?
Maybe it's just all about you being the player that dictates the pace of the game, because the moment you just follow SOS and you try to react to whatever SOS is doing, it's going to be very difficult. What I'm personally very excited about is we saw Rain early today on Bridgehead. He went for a cannon rush and it didn't really work out. So I'm sure that he was watching this game and he's like, oh, you guys want to have some cannons? I'll show you how to cannon rush, because we know If there's one thing that SOS knows, other than building 2 gateways inside of your main base, it's how to cannon rush.
Actually, there is even potential for proxy out of SOS. Like some kind of one gateway proxy into a forge as well with some insane cannon rush. So Curious, he's going to have to look out for all of that. Curious is the guy that I think likes to play standard, likes to macro, likes to go up to a lot of bases, but against somebody like SOS, he's going to be the one who's going to have to be on the defense.
Yeah, I feel that Curious, I know this is such an easy thing to say, but you have to figure out and scout what is happening in this game. Because of the wide choices that SOS can choose from and the different strategies he can use, Curious is going to be all over the place, almost defending everything, if that makes sense. But if he can just narrow down exactly what SOS is up to and then deal with it, that's going to be the best way for him to take on SOS. He's just got to figure it out.
Maybe good news for Curious and other Curious fans out there is that the first map in this series is, of course, going to be Coda.
Of course.
But I do think that Coda is a map where it's very hard to surprise your opponent, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of crazy things you can do. Todd is laughing right now. He says SOS is going to show you, and I'm sure there will be a way that he can surprise us all. But I think in general, Coda is a very straight-up map. So if SOS wants to take game number 1, he's just going to have to straight-up outplay Curious, I kind of feel.
And one question I did want to pose to all of you guys. SOS came into this tournament looking to secure his ticket to BlizzCon. He's done that. He's not concerned with WCS points anymore. Does he start to style a little bit on Curious if he takes an advantage early in this series?
Yeah, he said yesterday in the winners interview, I think he said, once that pressure was gone, he plays better like that. He plays better when he's comfortable and doesn't feel pressured to perform. And now he isn't. I think he's come here, he got what he wanted, because that's what he wanted at the end of the day, was just to qualify. And now he's going to play the best games I think we're going to see.
I mean, just like Rain, SOS has also never won a DreamHack. And if you look at the list of previous DreamHack winners before, of course, everybody that ever won a DreamHack deserved it, because you have to be world-class to win a DreamHack. But SOS, whenever a player like him attends 2 or 3 DreamHacks, you kind of expect him to win at least one, right? He's won a BlizzCon, man. This guy has been the official world champion of StarCraft in 2013. So maybe, you know, as a nice warm-up over here, taking down DreamHack Stockholm will look very good on his resume.
Yeah, I think that's all very well put. Todd, if you're SOS, what's something crazy that we might see him pull out against Curious if he is feeling so confident?
First of all, I'm definitely not. In terms of build orders, he has such a huge repertoire that I think he can just kind of freestyle it. Like, pick a build per map, just execute it, do it well, and keep on winning this way. The map veto process actually was already very interesting because SOS was the first veto and first pick. So he vetoed Dash and Terminal standard, then you had Curious veto Moonlight Madness, and then we went straight into Coda. So it feels like if everything goes according to plan, SOS ideally wins map number 1, then Curious wins map number 2, Iron Fortress, SOS wins Terraform, which he picked a 3rd map. 4th map, Bridgehead, Curious wins, and then we will go to Cactus Valley, and I feel like it'd be really open there if we had to go to a 5th map.
Do you really think it's going to go all the way to the 5th map?
I mean, like, it was an example now on how ideal it goes if each player win on their...
if everything goes standard, but we're watching an SOS best of 5 here. Have we ever seen an SOS best of 5 where everything goes standard and according to expectations?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
So the next question I guess I ask you then, if Curious is able to overcome SOS, and what I think we could all agree would be a pretty reasonable upset, does he have a chance at making a repeat DreamHack championship?
Yeah, for sure. This is probably the biggest obstacle right now in his way to repeating.
Very similar to, well, I guess similar to the way that Hyun had Rain earlier on. This is a big game for Curious. If he wins, he's going to be cruising, I think.
All right. Well, we look at the other side then. Curious potentially in this situation you mentioned wanting to try to control the pace of the game and not play reactively to SOS's style, not enter SOS's world of madness. What can he do? What kind of steps can you take as a Zerg player to try and dictate the pace of the game so that your opponent can't be so comfortable against you?
Well, I think it's very important that you don't want to be the way that Hyun opened up in Coda. You know, just 65 drones, no scout. Like, doing that against Rain, I can sort of understand the thought process behind it, but he explained it a little bit as well. He was just misreading the situation a little bit. But that's almost suicide, man, against Protosses in this day and age, especially on Coda. Yes, Coda is a very predictable map, but because it is, that's often why Protoss players switch it up as well. So as Curious, you don't want to do that. Maybe stop at 51 drones, then just make a a ridiculous amount of units, try to hide them. And if SOS moves out with a small squad where he just wants to apply pressure, try to jump on that army immediately. Try to force a defensive recall so he doesn't have photon overcharge anymore, and just try to take the game from there. That's kind of, if I was curious, that's how I would approach this game.
Okay, so we haven't been doing any predictions here like we were doing in WCS, where some of us did good, some of us did bad. Shout out to Nate and Jeff in particular. So I want us to make a little bit of a prediction here.
On this match?
No, okay, listen. How many Dark Shrines are we gonna see? Everybody needs to say a number.
I say
two.
I say two. One early and one late game.
I'll go with... I'm going to go crazy. 0.
I think if SOS wins this as convincingly as a lot of people believe he might, then just needs 3.
Wow. If he wins this, Nate is really good. Like, I'd have a lot of respect for you.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I said 2. I think one like straight up opening DTs where he tries to hide it, either in the corner of his base or somewhere out on the map. And then one Dark Shrine, you know, maybe when he's already established on 3 bases, and we know that SOS loves his War Prisms, and there's not a whole lot of things more annoying for a Zerg player to deal with than a War Prism with Zealots that have charge and Dark Templars. Like, that's his nightmare.
Yeah. So SOS, if he doesn't want to really, you know, go too hard at this, you know, he's already in the safe zone, he's already feeling good. When we think about BlizzCon in a couple of months down the line, you know, how is SOS worried about showing any of these styles that we talked about here?
I don't think so, man. PvZ is all about being unpredictable on the fly, and you know, Todd said it already as well. This guy has such a wide repertoire of build orders. You know, he has so many builds. So even if he shows a couple here, there's absolutely no saying whether or not he's going to do anything similar a month from now.
Yeah, and if you look at it too, is everyone that's going to prepare, if they were to play SOS in 5-6 weeks from now when BlizzCon is, and they look back and they're like, okay, so he played Curious 6 weeks ago. Is that really going to help me now coming into this? Because SOS will definitely change things up by then.
There is the mugshot.
Curious on the other end, of course, he has absolutely nothing to say. If he's not going to BlizzCon, this is a unique opportunity for him. Yeah. I think Tasia is the only player ever, right? Or maybe Puma. Did Puma win back-to-back?
I don't think so, no.
No, there was like an in-between, right? Hero won in-between or something. Yeah. So I guess Tasia is the only one ever to win back-to-back DreamHacks.
So there's a lot on the line. I mean, at least for Curious, trying to finish the year out strong, because he doesn't have that pressure of BlizzCon. Do we see the same thing for guys like Solar, especially when we look at the rest of this bracket?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, right? You're very deep into the tournament already. Yeah. Why would you ever save any builds? They've made it to the quarterfinals. You come here, you want to win a lot of prize money, and above all, you want to put that title on your resume. It just looks good.
I think if Curious beats SOS here too, Snoot could win this tournament.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well.
Would definitely have a hard time against SOS because of how good he is, but if Curious takes him out, Snoot's good enough Zerg versus Zerg to beat Curious if they were to meet.
And then there is a chance he meets another Zerg in the final in the name of Hyun.
He could win.
He'd be reality, man. We would have no words for Snoot before the game.
The Finns having a cheeky drink watching the games.
I don't think we can qualify this as a cheeky one anymore. When you started that like Friday morning and it's been non-stop. It's a cheeky weekend.
A cheeky day. No drinks for those guys.
You cheeky monsters.
Yeah. It's been nice as more and more of you guys have been coming in. Check it out, of course, the wonderful city of Stockholm. Great place. And very, very excited to see as things continue to progress towards the finals.
Yeah, you love it here, right?
Yeah.
Nate's a big fan of this.
You're staying a little bit.
I'm a big Stockholm fan. I'll be here for a couple days after the event, just chilling.
Nate has already said that one day he's going to move to Stockholm.
Yeah?
It's the dream.
He wants to win the Swedish EPS.
That's exactly. You know, it's actually part of my training program to just come here and actually win just the Swedish championships.
It's difficult though. In general, the Swedes are pretty damn good when it comes to strategy games.
Yeah, it's certainly a tasking challenge to undertake.
Maybe on another game, Nate, like Daisy or something.
Just find something that no one.
No scene.
Just find some game that no one plays.
I would tell you to go for CS, but the Swedes are very good at CS as well. So that's an absolute no-go.
That dream's much more achievable back in America. So is SOS then all of your guys' personal favorite? Outside of who you think will actually win, he's the guy that you guys are pining for now?
I think SOS is winning this whole tournament, to be honest. If he gets taken down here is when I think it becomes up in the air to who wins it, but SOS should win the whole thing.
I think both Reality and Sean are probably looking at this as well. Like, I wouldn't mind it to see SOS lose over here, because the way that guy's been playing lately, not just in Seattle where he won the Masters Gaming Arena, but also in Pro League, and so far in this tournament. And big shout out to my Dutch boy Horsten, man, because he's so far the only one that almost showed that SOS could bleed, but then he didn't bleed because he didn't drop a map, but he maybe gave him a bruise or something, you know? Like, Horsten put up a very good fight yesterday against SOS. But other than that, this guy is on fire. He really is.
Well, time to find out how on fire SOS still is. We are ready to go into our next quarterfinal. Ladies and gentlemen, we brought to you by Roddy and Todd.
Thank you very much, Nathanias, as we are getting ready for our third quarterfinal of the day. Is it going to be the last Protoss surviving and making it into the semifinals, or is it going to be one big Zerg party for Reality, as he seems to be enjoying those parties quite a bit?
I thought there was a few punts here coming in. Actually, we haven't been doing those enough.
Well, I made a couple.
Curious against SOS coming up.
I'm very curious about how this one is going to go. Is that how bad you want me to be?
Actually, I was going to do worse. I'm very curious about if he's going to have to send an SOS to ask for help.
Hashtag dad jokes. Like, I'm just not ready for it. Let's take a look at it.
It's too early.
Yes, it is too early. Maybe throughout this best of 5. It should be a very good one, though. We saw a couple of PvZs on the first day, but this is the first one we see today. As we kick things off on Coda, the most standard map in the map pool right now. And we're looking at the main base of the last Protoss player in this tournament. He's been a world champion before, but he's never won a DreamHack. Give it up for SOS. That tie, though. I like that tie. I would like to have a Jina Ashur.
Easy not.
Yes, I know. That's the only tie I could ever tie in my life.
And his opponent, starting on the bottom right-hand side here, playing as the Blue Zerg, is our returning champion. It is, of course, Curious.
Very successful year, man, for Curious. I'm actually quite happy to see that, because he was a big Zerg player in 2012, 2013, and of course, he's always been around, but we never really expected him to make such a big resurgence here. In 2015, suddenly show up, win DreamHack Valencia, kind of came out of nowhere, that victory. Of course, he did make it to the semi-finals of the GSL as well, which also kind of came out of nowhere, because he was the guy that, you know, often made it to the round of 32 or Challenger, but never really had a deep run, and then suddenly like, hey, here's Curious, and he's better than ever.
Absolutely, and Curious is known to be a pretty much standard player. He loves to just keep it normal, keep it simple, doesn't necessarily rush all that often. And in this game, he's actually already opened with a hatch first against SOS, who's faking a cannon rush here. He sends that probe at the same timing you will send it when you go for a forge. So SOS is going to be playing to his image and might be able to force I guess drone pull here from Curious, ideally.
Yeah, I like this. So what SOS is doing over here, he shows that he has a probe, and then he puts the probe in Fog of War. So Curious immediately is like, oh god, it doesn't start just yet, right? No, it doesn't actually, Curious. He's just faking it. The Overlord is going to make his way across the map, and will of course identify that there is a Nexus anytime soon. He's going to spot the gateway as well. This is still that 1 second where you're a tiny bit worried that there might be a forge, because you are playing against SOS.
Curious didn't overreact though. If I'd seen one probe like this and I was Zerg, I'd pull like 12 drones or something.
I would have left immediately. I was like, I don't want to see the cannons go up. Just show mercy.
Yeah, Curious with, I guess, some very calm play here in map number 1. Making sure he does not overreact, doesn't fall behind on the economy. And SOS didn't even try to sell the story here. I think he realized very early he wasn't going to work anyway.
So there's one thing in particular I'm looking out for in this game. Throughout this tournament, we've seen multiple Zergs open up like this, but then still get pretty damn quick speed, but just never make any Zerglings. And it's just kind of
8 Zerglings, by the way.
Yeah, that's more than you would normally make. But he doesn't have speed, so these are safety Zerglings. He will be able to patrol, make sure that there are no pylons going up on his side of the map. But 8 links is a little more than you would normally make.
8 links means you want to be aggressive. He wants to try and go across the map, maybe get a surround on that Zealots, if there is even one. And if he gets it, then Curious can go into the main, prevent some mining time, maybe kill even a few probes here and there. That's a big commitment. Like, this has to do something.
Yep. A lot of Protoss players are very greedy in this day and age. They will just start with a sentry and still don't even make the mothership core. Let's see how SOS is going to play.
Because SOS, I think he wants to go for a proxy Stargate out on the map, maybe on the top right-hand side, where he has the probe. He didn't get anything.
And a Stalker is not even that great, Todd. The Stalker could get surrounded. If I were D-Lynx, I would work on the pylon. There we go. This could be an absolutely phenomenal start for Curious. You need a mothership core. Just cancel that Stalker, man. It's not going to come out. He needs to cancel the Stalker and start the mothership core ASAP. Well, he starts it anyway. So he lets us talk about this is an awesome opening for Curious.
Yeah, He's going to prevent a lot of mining time here, even making sure all the pylon goes down here for now from SOS, who had to evacuate there.
This is so annoying. Of course, 8 links does slow your economy down a little bit. That probe will be able to warp in the pylon, so that's something. Links are going to try to take care of it.
And the Stargate starts out on the map here for SOS, even though he's taking some damage. As long as he can survive there, that Oracle should be a surprise anyway for Curious, and it might be able to do some damage in the long run.
You know, if I'm SOS right now, I am so worried that there are not 20 more links running across the map. Because imagine if there was a speed follow-up as soon as your probe left, then this would just be pretty much curtains, right? You know, if there are 20 links right now running into your main, it's game over. That is not going to happen. I still think Curious is more than satisfied with what these links achieved.
There you go.
Tasers, man. They're dangerous.
Our SOS, though, he's going to have to rely a lot on that Oracle that is going to be getting out on the map to try and do some serious damage. Do we see Curious with the blind spores? That's the question, because he's not going to be spotting that Stargate.
I kind of feel like he should. He saw that
At
the
least
probes...
one, a cheeky spore?
I saw that the probes were still mining gas in the main base, right? And you kind of have to wonder, right? Like, just a mothership core so far, what are you doing with all that gas? There must be something. This is very nice as well. SOS is going to draw the attention of Curious towards this Stalker, towards this mothership core, and that's going to give this Oracle free reign over this main base. Imagine if the queen of the main base also makes his way to the low ground.
Curious actually made a bunch of links here to make sure he can shut this down here on the ground, but with only 1 queen per base, this is gonna kill quite a few drones. Roddy, you're very good at guessing how many. So what do you say?
5 right now.
Just 5?
Yep, just 5.
In the main?
Yes, just 5 in the main. Yesterday I said 7, but this time it's gonna be 5.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's gonna be more than that. As the queen is not reacting to it immediately, as the Oracle picks up 5 drones for now. Damn it, I should have believed in my guess. You are right, Todd. I am very good at this.
Getting a forge as well here behind his SOS. He's already working on a 3rd base. He's getting some sentries. He's going to be dropping down a bunch of additional gateways. He's really recovered very well, to be honest, considering how it opened. I would have felt like I'm so far behind here after links get in and it's like slow you down like this, but SOS salvaged the situation very nicely.
I mean, the good thing is about these Oracles, while they still pick up a couple of additional drones, well done. 2 Oracles is very nice, by the way, because that's an instant kill on any drone, so it's just click, kill, click, kill, click, kill over and over again.
Didn't see that 3rd base yet, by the way.
No, but the thing is, even if he sees it, what can he do about it, Todd? There are 2 Oracles on the map. You're not going to make 25 links, because the Oracles will just take care of those links with photon overcharge as well. I don't think there's anything he can do about it. I think it's very smart by SOS to go up to 3 bases that quickly.
He could make sure that, I guess, that he drones up really hard on his own. Usually, you can try and counter with building up your own economy, but I think that's what... Oh no, he made links! He made links instead!
Yeah, I don't like it that much, Todd. I'm a little bit worried right now for Curious, because
this could be really bad. I think there's even 2 cannons on that 3rd base going up for SOS.
I think the best thing he can hope for is maybe a hold position, or run into the natural, but that's not going to happen either.
By the way, that forge is secure. That forge is like... Okay, well... Not gonna get hit anytime soon.
It's the most protected forge I've seen in a while. Even has those 2 cannons there as well. Double Roach Warren and a Spire. Do you think the 2nd Roach Warren is a mistake?
Yeah, he canceled one just now. Oh no, this finished.
Yeah, it's finished. It just seems very unlikely you want to go double Roach Warren.
You need so much gas to go for glial reconstitution, tunneling class,
and the infestation pit as well.
He's just getting everything.
Yeah, he's just getting everything, and that's all right if you're up to 4 bases and your economy went completely uncontested, but Curious has lost 10, 12, 14 drones throughout this game, right? Or 11 it is, and he also made a lot of links in multiple phases, so he is not as rich as Zerg players can be, and he's not even starting any roach upgrades.
It's the double fake. You get double roach run and you make 0 roaches. Mind games.
Yeah, maybe, Todd. I mean, I would fall for it, I'm not gonna lie. I would throw up 6 cannons right now. 1 roach.
And mass immortals. And then suddenly there is Broodlords.
Has the Spire been spotted once by SOS?
I don't think so. Yeah, he's going to see it soon, though, right? I think SOS knows that right now is when he needs to be scouting. He's going to see the double road shrine and the Spire and probably be thinking, what the hell is going on
and
here?
The infestation pit and the melee upgrades going down. I mean, Curious has made more buildings than units in this game, and he's actually made quite a few links, so that's extra impressive.
He's made more tech buildings than Blidos in an entire series.
The good old 3 Mutalisk into quick Ultralisk or something. This is why double Oracle is so nice, by the way. Like I said, double Oracle, instant click on a drone is an instant kill. But I'm very worried, man. I think if SOS runs across the map soon with the 8 gateways that he has, +2 halfway done, Blink about to finish up, I have no idea what Curious is supposed to do against that.
I really like SOS's position here in this game. With the Blink and +2, he's going to be able to deal with the Mutas very easily, especially if he sees it coming, which he should.
But look at the production tab. There's so many upgrades going down. It's Punching Glance, it's Roach Speed, it's Carapace, it's +1 melee, it's Flyer's attack. It's like Curious, you're getting everything. But SOS is just going to run across the map soon. He's going to get a couple of defensive cannons. I mean, best case scenario for Curious is that SOS defends for the next 5 or 6 minutes. But I have a hard time imagining he's going to do that, Todd.
Ooh, Oracle's flying right past Muta. Is going to be getting out of there.
They come in peace. They didn't even drop the Revelation. They didn't have to die just yet. I mean, there's so many Stalkers in the main. These Mutas will be able to achieve absolutely nothing so far.
The Mutas are going to go for these Oracles now, though.
That's nice. I mean, these Oracles paid for themselves. There's not enough energy for a Revelation. That's a little bit unfortunate. Neither there is for Envision, so no free creep tumors. These Mutas should... Man, Oracles are so fast.
Yeah.
Phoenixes can catch up to them.
As fast as you on the freeway, man.
What? I'm not fast at all.
That Roddy car.
Couple tickets over 3 years, Todd. That's not too bad.
A couple cannons here are going down, and with the Templar archives as well. Looks like SOS just wants to max out on Stalkers, maybe get a bunch of High Templars.
Man, one Oracle lives. Tell the tale. He's going to be able to drop a Revelation one day. He had dreams.
SOS needs to see that there is a hive on the way here, so that he can start preparing accordingly. I guess already getting Templar archives is going to be nice, but usually when you see a hive like this, what you can do is just move out and attack before it finishes, and there is any kind of Ultras or Brood Lords coming into play, because then you're going to be really strong, especially since SOS is going to very quickly start on closing in on the maxed out army soon.
Yep, a couple of Archons as well in the mix is going to make it so hard for Curious to get a straight-up engagement. I mean, Fungal Grove is great against Sentries and Zealots. It's all right against Stalkers, not phenomenal. Wow, SOS killed one of his own Stalkers there. That's very bad moral for your troops. All the Stalkers are sad right now, Todd.
Happens to me all the time.
Now they're happy again as they blink under a couple of Mutalisks and get a couple of free picks here and there. I mean, the Ultralisk Cavern should be down anytime soon.
Yeah,
but
this is the attack War Prism here that SOS is getting. He's going to want to start moving out soon here. He's got enough Stalkers to work with. There's quite a few links here, but I mean, I guess upgraded Zealots.
Yeah, Zealots have +2. The Stalkers are still here as well. There's one Archon in the mix, and especially the Archons. If the Lynx run into the main base, ooh, I kind of felt running into the main would have been the best choice there. There's a lot of additional Stalkers will be wiped in. This army by SOS is so damn scary, though. If Lynx would have 2-2, then maybe I believe maybe he should jump on this army, as a lot of the forces of SOS are still on the north side. I kind of feel this is Curious's moment. Just go for it. Force fields are good. Oh my god,
he's going to change force field his Stalkers, but more are going to be blinking forward, potentially reinforcing into the fight here. Behind his Infestors, his SOS trapping all of these Infestors.
Yeah, I mean, Curious thought he saw an opportunity. So far, he's still maxed out, though. He has a lot of Roaches on the way, but the Stalkers should eventually be able to clean this up, right? One more Fungal does go down. I mean, if he kills the War Prism over here, actually, that went so damn good for Curious. I'm shocked, Todd.
Yeah, he defended properly, and behind his Ultralisk production is going to begin SOS on 0 Immortals against Ultras that are going to have 2-2.
And 23 Roaches as well, and there is Roach Speed. You know, he doesn't have any additional upgrades for the Roaches, but, you know, +1 Carapace and Roach Speed, that's going to keep him safe for now.
So now Curious's economy on 4 bases is going to be left untouched. He can start working on the 5th base in a second. He's even getting a Viper, getting a nice snipe actually on the Mothership core here as well, but with the Viper he's getting, he's going to have that infamous Blinding Cloud Fungal.
I mean, that was such a crazy fight, right? Because it looked like, all right, Curious, this is your opportunity. Yeah. And he went for it, and while he went for it, I was like encouraging it at first, and then I was like, okay, those forces are really good. But then when the reinforcements came in from the north side, he made it work after all, and he was just spending all his money throughout the entirety of that fight. Just very well done. A couple of great Fungals. He didn't over-Fungal, you know, not too many Fungals at once.
This was supposed to be a win here for SOS. He invested so much into this army and lost everything. Curious just remaxed instantly, and now SOS in so much trouble. He's going to start working on the 4th base. But you can only imagine that Curious is going to be attacking very soon because he's not only already maxed out, he's already building up a bank as well.
I like how you say that, Todd. He invested a lot in the attack, and not just in the army, but also a lot of defensive cannons, right? It was basically, I want to make sure that I won't die to a counterattack, but this army that I have right here and right now is going to win the game for me. But that idea backfired, so now he is forced to go up to 4 bases. He is getting stormed, but you already said it, man, that infamous combination of Blinding Cloud and Fungal, it's very rough. Immortals are great, but not when you Fungal and Blinding Cloud them.
Yeah, you need to land a good bunch of feedbacks, which is very hard.
Number 1! Dark Shrine number 1, baby.
In map number 1 already. Who predicted the most Dark Shrines?
Nate said 3.
Imagine he just goes for like 6. He gets 2 Dark Shrines in one game.
The backup Dark Shrine. Proves us all wrong. I mean, this is the late game Dark Shrine that I predicted. At least there's one. And this is truly one of those when behind go Dark Shrine plays, because sOs knows that he's definitely behind after that attack just didn't work out the way that he wished for.
Most bases won't necessarily have spines plus Spore Crawlers, so if some DTs can get in there and kill a bunch of drones, maybe he can somehow come back in this game. But right now it looks like Curious is going to be hitting a very strong timing just before he has to remax on something else like Brood Lords.
Yep, he's getting rid of a couple of these roaches as well. Of course you want to do something with them, but losing them is not the end of the world, because these roaches don't have the upgrades that he's looking for. The Forge will never fall, Johan.
It's in the vaults.
That one pylon as well, powering like 4 or 5 cannons.
I thought Curious might just attack, but I guess he's just sacking the roaches here for now, and I guess it's the right move.
Yeah, I think it's very smart. I mean, why stick on these roaches that don't have any attack upgrades, don't have massive armor upgrades
Kill the
either?
gas. Not bad.
Does he have a Great Aspire? I think I saw a Great Aspire,
just finished.
correct? Wow, so he's going to be able to have Brood Lords as well. And you said this as well, I think yesterday in one of the PvZ stuff, it's so hard to deal with Brood Lords when you're poor. And sOs, yeah, he has a little bit of money in the bank, but he's not very rich. It's going to be so damn difficult to deal with both Brood Lords and Ultralisk.
I mean, the one target that he had was on the top right-hand side, and he got killed eventually, so there's no chance he's going to be able to reach Tempest anytime soon. So he's just going to have to deal with this with ground units. If Curious keeps his army together, lands a good bunch of Blinding Cloud Fungal, these Brood Lords are just going to wreck sOs completely.
A couple of Dark Templars will be warped in probably towards the left side of the map. I'm not sure what he... Or is he morphed them into Archons? I don't know what he did with them. I mean, he does have a lot of
Storms. Could be
Stalkers.
dangerous.
Yeah, he has Storms and he has 28 Blink Stalkers, but I don't like this position. Look at the positioning of the Brood Lords, man. You're never going to be able to kill them.
It's going to be really hard here in that position.
Yeah,
sOs not quite pulling back just yet. He's trying to deal a little bit more damage. Already sniped 7 drones. He's going to blink under this Brood Lords there. And there is no Blinding Cloud just yet. Here we go, finally.
Oh, he missed micro those Infestors a little bit. All the Infested died. I'm not sure how many Fungals went up there. That wasn't perfect for Curious, but it should still be pretty good, right?
Yeah, there's just so many Immortals and Stalkers and Archons and everything that sOs somehow is doing okay in this fight right now. He's going to kill all of the Brood Lords.
Man, all the Infestors just died. All of them were like full on energy and all of them just died. He right-clicked them into that Protoss army, and I thought those Brood Lords were never going to die, but it seems like the 28 Stalkers have taken care of them.
Protoss!
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah, Curious behind this is going to start a lot of Zerglings and Ultralisks, as well as a single Infestor.
How did the Dark Templars do? Did they achieve anything somewhere?
I don't think he used any just yet, but he might now.
These Lings should be able to take care of these cannons, by the way, because these are very well upgraded Lings. There are a couple of Immortals as well, but Immortals is not going to be enough. A few more Mulas. Yeah, this is a very nice Link counter. I do like this counter a lot.
He's going to do some damage, kill some very important Immortal, but back at home, Curious is still in so much trouble here. There's just so much.
And those Brood Lords, Johan, they're very exposed. 2 Brood Lords will complete, but Stalkers are going to blink forward again and try to pick them up, and will succeed in doing so. Good split fire there as well by sOs, and sOs has taken the supply lead. He was so far down and out. But
what the hell? sOs.
All he does is win, Johan. No matter what.
I knew this was going to come with it.
A lot of Dark Templars are still left, Immortals are left, Stalkers are left. It seemed like such a good defensive position that Furious had, but GG! sOs wins game number 1 on Coda. A very entertaining game on Coda, so to say.
I think this was a huge mess up here by Curious, where that attack happened and he didn't have his units, I guess, properly together. Didn't land the Fungals, Blinding Cloud he was supposed to, and then in the end, that cost him the game. That big attack by sOs, he invested all he had into it. That was the equivalent of a timing that can also be called an all-in even at this stage in the game, because if he gets crushed in that fight, he lost the game. And there was supposedly, he wasn't I don't think he's supposed to do that well in this fight in particular.
No, I think it all comes down to the Infestors, and this is something that we mentioned multiple times throughout our weekend in Poland where we did the WCS Season 3 finals. You know, Infestors, Ultralisk, Broodlords, and Vipers. When a Zerg player does it well, it looks super imbalanced and it looks easy, but that's a very, very difficult army to control. And we just saw it, man. A world-class Zerg player like Curious, he just ran his Infestors, head in. Yes, the Blinding Clouds were great, but if you don't combine it with a couple of Fungals, then it's just Blinding Cloud.
Yeah, I think SOS probably realized that with a bunch of good feedbacks he could win this, so he sent his High Templars forward. And it was funny actually, because I think to try and bait the Broodlings and even a bunch of the army, he blinked a bunch of Stalkers forward, but not all of them. He left enough room for the High Templars to snake in there, and he was just spamming those feedbacks.
But he even stormed the Infestors as well.
You feed back an incredible amount of the units, and then like if you feed back 8 Infestors or like and then 2 Vipers, like supposedly you should win, right? Because it's really good.
I mean, that must be such a frustrating game for Curious. Of course, early on, those Oracles did a little bit of damage, and things weren't looking all that well. But then he had that phenomenal fight in the middle of the map where the reinforcements came from the north side after all those forces went down, and it looked tricky, but he turned it around, was still maxed out. After that fight, it's like, all right, man, you're in Zerg heaven right now. You got Infestors, you got Vipers, you got well-upgraded Ultralisk, and you got a couple of Broodlords. And a Protoss player is just on Stalkers and Immortals. This should be your game. And then, well, you screamed Protoss Tot, and it was a little bit of Protoss magic.
This is very worrying, actually, for Curious, because if there was one game that he could have won, it was this one. I feel like it can only go worse here from now for him.
I mean, the second map is going to be Iron Fortress. You said it in the start of the series. That is a very good Zerg map.
Yeah, unless Dark Templars walk in and kill one of your bases, and you don't have Lair Tech just yet or a Spore.
How likely
which is SOS's specialty.
How likely is that going to happen, though, in game number 2 here?
With SOS, it's actually... How likely is it that we're going to see a proxy of SOS in PvP? That's almost the same question.
Well, you know, lately he's been holding it down a little bit on the proxies. He's not going too ham anymore on them, as he's just such a solid macro player as well. I mean, we often talk about how this player can be cheesy and how he has a lot of ridiculously cheesy builds, but it doesn't mean that he can't play late game, because he can. He's still one of the absolute best Protoss players in the world. I don't think there's ever been a moment over the last 2-3 years that SOS wasn't one of my top 5 favorite Protoss players in the world.
Yeah, I think for a lot of Protoss that's the case. Like, we all can appreciate how good he is, and all of the builds that he uses as well. But here we go. We're on Iron Fortress, and starting in the top left-hand side of the map here, playing as the red Protoss, it is, of course, SOS.
The Protoss player that just looks like he's in trouble over and over again throughout this entire tournament, but he just keeps on winning, even yesterday in a couple of those PvPs, but he always turns it around. This guy, he knows that he has one hell of a task ahead of him. He is Zerg. He's the reigning DreamHack champion. It is Curious.
SOS was already scouting there. Maybe a cheeky cannon rush in the works.
Yeah, on Iron Fortress, I actually think that's one of the maps where SOS loves to do it. You know, pylon on the low ground, get a 13, 14
He
forge.
knows all the positions. He spends hours just making pylons down on maps.
He doesn't spend hours. He spends hours dreaming about it at night. That's when he truly practices his cannon rushes. Some people count sheep when they lay in bed. SOS counts cannons.
And pylons.
Yes.
That's all he does.
And he still doesn't fall asleep, man. He just keeps on counting. He's like,
oh, I think when he finds a position in his head, he falls asleep, and he sleeps like a baby.
Well, here we go. First pylon's going to be wiped in immediately. He's not going to hide it. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be bad, guys, because if you get one cannon tucked right there, you know, where you just clicked as well, and then one more cannon next to it, it's almost impossible for drones to break already. It's very important for Curious that he respects it, and this time he does, Todd.
Making sure that he does not underestimate the cannons here of his opponent. But the thing is, when a Zerg pulls enough drones like this, you can just not cannon and go for a Nexus. And right now SOS is getting an 18th probe.
That's SOS, man. He's gonna cannon. Don't you worry about it, Todd. There's a reason why. Yeah, there are two probes over here.
He got it on the other side.
It's all about that little. It's all about that little corner, though. Right now, where Funka has his cursor, it's all about that little corner. I think if he gets one cannon there, then it's phenomenal. So far,
he's able to start 3, but 3 drones on a cannon as it starts here will be enough to eventually kill them fast enough.
I'm surprised he didn't go for that little... Oh, it actually gets shot down. Wow.
This is the first time SOS has failed a cannon rush in the last 24 years.
Did he really fail, though? Is he giving up yet?
Yeah, he is.
No! Oh! That's what he should have done all along, though. That's the magic spot.
Oh my god.
Are you kidding me? Just when you think it's over.
That's 3 cannons and 2 pylons, right?
Yes.
Oh, so 2 cannons.
So this one
two
cannon.
No, 2 cannons.
is a little bit exposed. I actually think one of the cannons is going to finish up, though.
Yeah, but if it's only one in there, then you can get enough. You need to shut it down. So SOS is going to need to make more.
Yes. It needs to keep a probe alive. One more probe has gone down. Lynx will start working on these cannons, but one cannon is going to protect the other cannon. SOS, has he actually made his work after all? Does he have a cannon at home, though? Because if I'm curious right now, I just run my Lynx across the map. Okay.
He made it on time, but I think Curious can just get a bunch of Lynx, maybe one Queen, and then shut it down.
It's very difficult to attack that cannon, though.
Oh, he's supply blocked.
That's so well
20
protected.
20 out of 20 for a very long time here for Curious.
Oh, well, he's going to fix that supply block by losing a couple of Lynx. I actually think that other cannon is going to finish up as well. It's going to stay alive. It's going to regenerate shields right now.
With 5 health.
It's going to regenerate shields. I actually think that all the Lynx that will run in will probably die as well, just one by one. SOS is ridiculous start. We joked about it. Is it really over? No, it's never over when it's SOS.
Is it time to call for help, Roddy?
It is time for an SOS. A message in a bottle. Okay, well, more Lynx working these cannons, but I feel, how many kills did that one cannon have, man? It's been working overtime. Already 11 kills. GG, SOS with the failed cannon rush into the successful cannon rush. I told you he was going to show us how to cannon.
That is some, he's almost as stubborn as you. Let's just put it that way with his cannon rush here. It's so funny because like I feel almost any Protoss, they would have been like, ah, it's not working. Let's just, and he has like a red hit points pro that gets back in there. Even Curious, he's not even respecting it anymore. He's like, ah, there's no freaking way he's gonna try again. And then there you have it. In a split second, 3 cannons, or rather 2 cannons are going up. He's walling them off with pylons, and somehow SOS pulls it off.
So Todd, as an advice to all the Zerg players out there, after the first time you shut it down, like obviously it's not supposed to work anymore, but you find yourself in that crazy scenario where that Protoss does warp in 2 more cannons and 3 more pylons, and you see one of those cannons is so well protected that you know without a queen it's going to be borderline impossible to break it. Maybe just sacrifice the hatch and take it somewhere else. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of resources. Not like there's a nexus on the other side of the map.
The thing is, the big mistake here for Curious is that he got supply blocked at 20 out of 20, and because of that, like if he hadn't been supply blocked, I think he could have been, he maybe could have killed his, started the queen on time and killed these cannons that were there. And that's probably the state of mind that he had. He was like, I can't kill it, but then he was supply blocked. And instead of telling himself, because I got supply blocked, now I can't do it, he was still like, I can do it. Then he went for it, and
that
15 kills cannon.
Yeah, and that other cannon as well survives with like 3 HP, so you know that the next few Lynx, you also have to send it to kill that cannon, and eventually you get that kill, but not before losing 5-6 more Lynx in the process. Man, what a... You know, we joked about it. We know what kind of a Protoss SOS is, but if you're curious right now, it's really hard not to hate on life. Like, you're the reigning DreamHack champ, so you're still kind of living on that high, but at the same time, right now, I don't think he has a lot of very nice words to say about Protoss. Yeah. This would be the moment for In Control to get a great interview out of Curious. He would get the answers he's looking for.
Yeah, the awkward champagne moment seems very far away right now for Curious as he goes down 0-2 and needs to win 3 maps in a row against SOS. That's pretty close to impossible.
Especially with the way that he's been playing lately. I really want to see the statistics of SOS of his last 25 or 30 official games, because I swear to God, this guy's like a 90% win record at the moment. He's just not losing. You know, Sean already said it, this is a great time in the year to be in your best shape. Of course, there's also a thing like peaking too early perhaps, but I don't think he would be too sad about it. If SOS ends up winning DreamHack Stockholm over here, you know, winning his first DreamHack ever, I think still he's going to be very, very happy with his entire performance throughout this year.
Winning 2 tournaments, reverse all killing in Pro League just before BlizzCon. I think he'd be going into this tournament with a lot of confidence.
Yep, it's hard not to have a lot of confidence. Even though, you know, BlizzCon is often won by the guy we don't expect to win. You know, in 2012 when we had BWC, I don't think a lot of people were looking at Parting to win. You know, there were a couple of PvP players out there that were considered a little better. Creator, Rain back then. In 2013, we saw SOS win, which was pretty damn surprising. Everyone thought Innovation back then. You know, yeah, exactly. And 2014, I don't think a whole lot of people were looking at live. Everyone was looking at Zest because he was the beast Protoss on that moment. But SOS, the world champ of 2013, is looking incredibly good in this DreamHack, as we are loading into Terraform, which could potentially be the final map of our 3rd quarterfinals. Of course, we will complete DreamHack today. He's spawning in the right bottom side of the map. He's one of the hottest players on Earth right now. Give it up for SOS.
Done really well for himself so far in this series. His opponent, our defending champion, playing as the Blue Zerg, it is of course Curious. He had a really nice first game, you know, up until the point where he got attacked and kind of fell apart on that big fight at his third base. Curious, I feel he definitely has what it takes to go head-to-head with SOS here, but he needs to take it up a notch a little bit here.
I mean, we often talk about momentum and how big of a thing it truly is in StarCraft 2. It's something that's invisible, but is still so real at the same time. And, you know, Curious, if he would have won game number 1 on Coda, he would have probably been hella confident, you know, going into game number 2. But knowing that game number 1 slipped away from you, you're not supposed to lose with Infestors and Vipers and Ultralisk and Broodlords against just Stalkers and, you know, a couple Storms and a few Immortals. That's normally a fight that's very winnable, and it's very hard to just shake that off and get yourself ready for game number 2. And well, if there was ever a moment to be on absolute life tilt, it's probably after game number 2, after you shut down the first cannon rush, but the guy still cannon rushes you by the time that your Zerglings are almost out, and suddenly it works.
Yeah, that was not ideal for sure. Curious though is going to be opening with the hatch first on the gold base, and we've seen that more and more, actually. You know, Zergs like Hydra, Zergs like Betrayers, they use this quite a bit in WCS, and they had quite a bit of success with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how SOS tries to counter. He realizes very quickly what's happening, throws down the Forge, he's going to be cannoning that gold base.
Maybe on the other side as well. I really like cannon rushes from the other side of the gold base over here. Now, he's not going to do it. He's just going to drop it right below this Overlord. SOS has absolutely no shame and no fear.
You can cannon on the other side. If you're a wuss, SOS, he doesn't care.
And let's not forget, there is a Zealot out already as well. The second Zealot is marching across the map. So this is not just cannons that Curious has to worry about. He has to worry about cannons that are going to be protected by a Zealot. And I'm already so worried, man. If I'm Curious right now, I cancel this hatchery. There's no saving it. It doesn't want to be saved. Don't save it. There you go.
And SOS already with a statement here. And I think he should let that cannon finish to make sure that the gold's not retaken anytime soon. It's his position now. I'm the captain now. I got this gold.
I mean, this is not nice for Curious, but it's not the end of the world just yet. You know, the Nexus is also going to be very late. This is not the way you want to start off as a Zerg player. You want to get that hatchery up and running as quick as possible. You want to get your queens out. You want to start spreading some creep and stuff. And of course, above all, you would love to take the gold base. But he's not super far behind just yet.
We're going to see Curious actually double expanding behind this, since he's already got links down on the map, starting speed as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Getting speed so quickly while still going up to 3 hatcheries. I almost have the idea that maybe we're going to see something very wild out of him here. But this is it's a pretty solid wall off though. And there are 2 Zealots. There's probably going to be a defensive cannon over here, right? Is there an Overlord that has a vision of the wall off? Yeah, he doesn't know if there's a cannon or not.
Yeah, Curious, the only thing he could make here is more links if you wanted to be aggressive, because he's not mining any more gas, or not that much. He's probably just like 1 drone mining it right now.
Imagine if he makes 30 Zerglings right now and there's not a Mothership Core and no cannon. I think it could work. Because there's so much surface area on that gateway as well. Look at that gateway, man. It's just like...
The pylons are a little bit weird, especially the 2 pylons in the corner. Like, both of them are very exposed.
It's a Roddy wall-off if I've ever seen one. I've played this game since 2010 and I still don't know how to wall off on most maps. It's nice to see that I'm not the only Protoss that's suffering from it. Even though maybe he's going to follow this up with like another sick building.
Oh, SOS sees the speed now. He's going to start Mothership Core immediately, really giving respect here to this build. It's time for another Dark Shrine.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Todd?
I like that he's in the back of his mirror line too. It's like such a huge tail that he wants to hide this, and usually when you want to hide this bad,
it could also
Dark Shrine.
It could also just be 2 base Blink Stalker, right? And let's not forget that he still has that pylon on the other side of the map, and he still has it's protected by a cannon. It's
usually 1 cannon gets sniped very easily.
That's true. But you know, if Curious forgets about it, maybe that's not the first thing that he's thinking about right now. And if suddenly 6 gateways finish up and you wipe in 7 Stalkers, that is a great staging ground, man. You don't even need a robotics facility, you don't even need a warp prism, you can just warp in from that pylon. But it is going to be a Dark Shrine opening, so that's the second one, Todd. We had the late game Dark Shrine in game number 1, now we got the quicker Dark Shrine in game 3.
He needs to win, that will both be right.
I'd be very right, though. I'd be so right. I can brag about it on Twitter, Todd.
You always do.
That's so not true. I'm so humble on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
7 more drones on the way for Curious. He has absolutely no idea about this Twilight Console. He has no idea about this Dark Shrine, but he did shut down at least that pylon and the cannon, so that's very nice.
Almost any time we see SOS do this, it feels like his opponent never expected it. And he does a lot almost every single time. Now, Curious, can he read into this properly? Can he get a spore?
I kind of feel that he has to do it right now, though, that he wasn't ready in some of the other games.
Oh, the pylon's going up at the top, I think. Yeah, oh my god, that's so close.
Yeah.
How did this stick through?
Like, I don't blame
There was
Curious
speed for the longest time. He got a probe across the map. How does this happen?
I don't know how that happened, Todd, but also there is a Stalker that's actively denying your Overlords. Then you need to get Spore Crawlers, man. It doesn't even matter whether it's an Oracle or Dark Templars. You need Spore Crawlers. If you're playing against a 2-base Protoss that shows absolutely nothing other than a Stalker that's preventing vision, you can't tell me that you shouldn't drop a Spore Crawler, because you should.
He's a sick ninja. That's the only explanation that I can see for this. With his pylon across the map, he's going to walk in 3 Dark Templars right now. There he's getting close to finishing, but there's no Spore Crawler. And as these Dark Templars, they head into the main and possibly natural. Actually, it's just going to be the natural.
I think this is almost game over, man. I'm not sure what he's going to do. He's keeping all Dark Templars together. I'm not sure how much.
He wants to go for the lair, I think.
Yeah, I don't like that much, man. He could have just gone for economic damage. I don't think he should go for the lair. He's going to kill one Spore Crawler, but if he keeps another Dark Templar in the natural, he will kill that Spore Crawler too. I really think SOS could have done more damage than he's doing, but he's still doing a lot of damage, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Spore's going to finish now. The natural base Zerglings come back to try and defend. SOS really not doing that much damage here so far. He's going to get a few more drones. But Curious should be able to defend here with the Zerglings.
That could have been about 100 times worse for Curious, absolutely.
SOS is moving across the map though. Does he get Archons here and all in or something? Maybe he can just keep DTs actually against just Zerglings for now.
Hey, there's double Roach one, by the way. That could be very nice for Curious. He's going to get Burrow, he's going to get Tunneling Claws, he's going to get Roach.
Because there is no Robo.
Exactly.
You need a Robo.
Yeah, that's why. That's phenomenal. Especially on Terraform as well. These Dark Templars are actually very annoying. It's kind of tricky to engage into that. A couple of Roaches are on the way though. With 7 Roaches on the way, I think Curious should be more than fine. Don't lose your Spore Crawler over here. I don't think that's going to happen.
Look at that Roddy Micro. Pulls back the injured Dark Templar here. It's going to let the shields regenerate. Right now, Curious needs the Roaches to be able to defend. SOS just looking to do more and more damage before he might have to recall in a second.
But he's really not doing all that much though, Todd. There are overseas over here. Yes, the Spore Crawler dies, but only 2 drones went down in the process. Of course, SOS is going up to 3 bases, but look at that robotics facility.
It was
so
a decoy.
late. Oh my god.
This is going to do some damage actually. There is no Overseer there. Drones are going to be exposed. They're going to start dying. SOS ended up recalling back at home. He saw Roaches. Did he see the... Oh no, he didn't recall.
Hey, and he killed the Spore Crawler as well on the other base, and he's running back towards the third base. I'm not sure if there's still an Overseer. Okay, yes, there is one Overseer.
And he's getting a Robo behind this. I think you realize what's happening here with the Roaches.
Yeah, but it's so late though. I mean, the Dark Templars are doing a very good job in slowing Curious down and buying time
Tunneling
for
Klaus is finishing same time as +1 and Burrow is finishing. So I think Curious was going to look to try and move across the map here and finally make something happen for himself in this game.
So what do you think is Curious's plan from here, Todd? What is he hoping for?
To make the Roach.
Just nothing but Roaches?
Yeah.
He's supply blocked on a kind of unfortunate moment, because especially on this moment when you have 3 bases up and running, you can produce nothing.
Through.
I'm actually very worried for SOS, man. Look at the army supply though. This is a situation that I'm very familiar with when I try to play like SOS. 29 army supply against 76.
Yeah, Roaches are going to get in there. Supply block, SOS immediately unpowered those gateways as well. Force fields are going to go down, but there is Tunneling Klaus. SOS is just not ready. Not a single Immortal is out on the map. He didn't even start one because he was supply blocked.
He does have 3 cannons in his natural, so I think it's safe to say that his natural is pretty safe, but losing his 3rd base would still be catastrophic. A few more Stalkers go down as well, and Curious, he can just keep on rallying Roaches across the map, man. Roaches are not that expensive.
I think SOS needs to sack that 3rd base. Like, there's no way he can defend it right now.
But when you do that, you also lose your 3 gateways, you lose a bunch of probes and stuff. You pretty much lose the game, and I think SOS knows this as well. He's down 80 supply in this game, and Curious strikes back. He hasn't won this game just yet, but he's doing a lot of damage. And I do think that's SOS's own fault a little bit. I think SOS had potential to do so much more with his Dark Templars.
Yeah, he misread the situation, saw no Spore on the natural, chose to go into the main, probably thinking that Lair was going to be finished on time, but then he saw it finish right before his eyes. And SOS is 100 supply behind his opponent here. He's in an almost unrecoverable position here.
This is when you open the Protoss Book of Cheese. What do I do when I'm down 100 supply in a base? It's like,
well, Blink Stalkers and Sentries and you pray.
Haven't we seen some ridiculous games in the past where you just kind of go up to 160 supply of Immortal Sentry?
Yeah, and then the Zerg just like attacks moves and loses everything. It can happen.
It shouldn't
happen. It probably
happen.
won't, but it can happen. I like how that probe goes there. It's like, hey, can I remake a Nexus?
It's like, nope, still a few too many Roaches. I mean, I think we're still looking at like 40 Roaches that are currently out on the map or something. 45 even. That Mothership Core is trying to chip away at this Roach count, but it just takes forever.
If this was a ladder game on Europe, the Zerg would be dancing his Roaches in front of the Protoss wall.
If this was a ladder game on Europe, Todd would be very angry at his opponent right now. Couple of changelings will get taken out, but Curious knows that he doesn't have to worry too much. The only way that Curious can lose is if he's extremely stubborn and only keeps making roaches forever.
Why does he keep riding probes there? It seems like a missed rally or something from his Nexus.
Yeah, maybe those were probes that survived the initial attack and were just long-distance mining.
The main Nexus was rallied on the third base. SOS. This is very uncharacteristic mistakes here out of him. That warp prism across the map is going to be the lone hope. The miracle maker, Roddy.
The Hail Mary play of Protoss. You wipe in 4 Dark Templars and you hope for the best. This Forge is a little more exposed than the Forge we saw.
I don't think Curious saw it, did he? Because I don't think he's getting ready in the main.
And he just blocked himself out as well. And he's okay. The good thing is at least that he's not maxed out, Todd.
Open the gates.
He can make units at home. This is so annoying, by the way, whenever you're Protoss and you just see a ridiculous amount of barrel roaches.
Hydras are starting now.
Well, that would be a great snipe,
he's trying to block it a little bit. Not going to be quite able to, though.
Where's he going
SOS, he was derping a little bit.
Okay, Curious, just go home, man. Don't end up losing too much against these Dark Templars, because Protoss is striking back for now. This Porker gets taken out. This layer that's morphing into a hive is taking a lot of damage, and there are a ridiculous amount of Dark Templars.
He's even trying to kill the Overseer with a bunch of Stalkers here. SOS.
Hydralisk, though. Hydralisk working on that Warp Prism, but these Dark Templars will be able to take down this layer. SOS. This is really not supposed to happen.
He's going to be able to get out.
With 2.
Like when DT even chipping away a little bit more those Hydras before finally getting killed. So behind this SOS, he's gonna have 5 Immortals. I guess no Viper tech coming anytime soon. What is going on?
Stop, Todd. I really don't want to believe this. I play Protoss too, and I don't want to apologize for playing my race if SOS wins this game.
It's okay. Hydra is the only one who asks for apologies from someone that play a race.
I mean, Curious is still on 4 bases. He should be more than fine, guys. We're joking a little bit because, of course, SOS is, he's giving himself a little bit of hope, but he's still down 70 supply. He's still down a base and a half. He's still being outmined, even though not to an extreme degree. And
I think SOS can just get a ton of units and then try and fight before Vipers are out. Try and make it happen.
It's tricky to get a ton of units, and when he just broke, there are Hydras coming from the north side as well. He's hitting from the east, he's hitting from the north. And he's going for it. Actually, it's the west, Todd. I always get those confused.
Time Warp is so important in this situation against Stunning Claws, but SOS is going to be able to get out of there, but he's going to lose a very important Immortal there. How does this keep happening? This is these guys are like...
I love it as well. It's just like 0.1 second before the spine is ready, but DTs, of course, will kill it. But much more importantly for Curious is that he killed the third base there. He killed one of the Immortals, and he also showed SOS that, hey, I've got a bunch of Hydralisk, man. And, Immortals are great against Roaches, but they're a little less great against Hydralisk.
You better run, Hydralisks. Gonna get chased down a little bit here by those DTs. Finally get kills. Curious is maxed out. SOS doing a fantastic job of hanging in there. Cannot really move out though, can he?
I mean, it's beautiful when you just sit on 2 bases as Protoss. You got 4 cannons and a Photon Overcharge. It's like, all right, try it. And I really love how that Forge actually managed to complete +3. Yeah. It's the most exposed Forge I've ever seen, but it's actually getting +3.
Where's the Hive tech at? Oh, he just started again.
You start layer or Hive? Okay, Hive in the natural.
I think Curious understands that getting Vipers here is the one thing that he needs to add to his composition to be in a good position to just close it out.
An unlosable
SOS
position.
Can't move out right now.
No, it's actually very awkward for SOS to move out as well with his units, because they have to funnel through that little choke point over there, and you don't want to eat shots one by one from all those Hydras. So I guess the best way is send the Immortals and then go for a forward blink. But
he got +3 though eventually.
Yeah. That's never what you want to do. This is very awkward for SOS. Look at this, man. It's like a little kid that's afraid that the boogeyman is coming for him. It's like, hog the cannons!
He's gonna try to move out here. Curious was ready and set up in a perfect concave. The Stalkers are stuck behind. He's gonna blink them forward to try and get out of there. But there is no Guardian Shield here now for SOS, who's trading against a Curious who's very rich and who's gonna be happy to just be remaking army. Even if SOS wins this fight here, he's gonna have lost a 2 huge chunk of his army.
Yeah, SOS will barely clean this up, but he knows he knows that it's not going to be enough. Curious strikes back and shows us that you can actually take maps of this guy that is called SOS. A very entertaining series so far, Todd. We've seen 2 Dark Shrines, we've seen a little bit of all, we've seen a few throws, we've seen comebacks. And now Curious needs to bring it back in game number 4. That's going to be played on Bridgehead, a map that you mentioned in the start of the series should be all right for him.
Yeah, it can be tricky on Bridgehead. That's the thing. That's a very tricky map, and that goes both ways. So SOS, a little bit of a specialist himself in all that trickiness that can be a part of StarCraft. It's going to be interesting to see which build he chooses, and Curious is going to have to be on point. He cannot make any mistakes, he cannot misread any situation. In this case, he got very fortunate, again, by the Dark Templar sending it to the main. You mentioned it, like, which was, in the end, a big mistake by SOS. But again, it's so easy to judge when we see everything.
True, but I still think just sending one Dark Templar to each base is always like a better choice, because it's impossible for a Zerg to micro drones on 3 locations at once. And even if they do that, you have to pull your drones everywhere, so you're not mining anything. And then you get in those tricky situations where do I have enough money for an Overseer, for a new Spore Crawler if I lost one or something. I just think that's a safer option. Or maybe go for 2 Dark Templars in one place and 1 Dark Templar somewhere else. But yeah, you know, maybe if he kills the layer and then he kills the Spore Crawler in the main, then he will be able to kill everything in the main. He kills the spawning pool, he kills the Roach Warren, and then of course it's a game-ending move, but it's just a little bit unlikely, and I felt it was unnecessary for SOS to do that. Of course, credit where credit is due. Great counterattacks by Curious. Love the Tunneling Claws, Roaches. I think that's always a great response against the Protoss that opened up with Dark Templars, but didn't do the damage that he was hoping for.
Yeah, Curious in the end, he salvaged the situation as he could. He didn't take that much damage against the initial Dark Templars. Zerglings came back in time. Behind this, though, that Hive Tech snipe was a little bit worrying, but I guess he was far ahead enough that in the end it didn't really matter for Curious.
The most important thing there for Curious is just keep SOS on 2 bases, right? We were joking about 2-base Protoss comebacks, but it's extremely unlikely against a 4-base Zerg, and he definitely took care of that. Well, we are loaded into Bridgehead, and I wonder if this man realizes how it feels, or remembers how it feels to lose a map. I'm sure he does, and I'm sure he's able to bounce back as well. Give it up for SOS. It's been a while, though, Todd, that I saw him drop a map.
He doesn't lose too much. His opponent, starting on the left-hand side here, playing as the blue Zerg. It is, of course, Curious. Finally bringing it back here. It was really starting to look like a 3-0 here when we saw those DTs being warped in so close to home here for Curious, and he didn't even see it coming. So I don't know how that probe got across the map. I really want to watch that replay and figure it out, because Curious, he had speed technically.
You know, it's always hard to get a probe to the other side of the map when there are a couple of Zerglings outside of your natural. But when there are Zerglings with speed, which is something Todd put a lot of emphasis on, and you're so right about it, that's just not supposed to happen. One of the main reasons why Zerg gets speed early on is to shut stuff like that down. You don't want to see a pylon go up on your side of the map.
Maybe he had a probe out earlier than that because he knew he was going to go DTs, so he was hiding a probe somewhere on the map and then send it to go for the pylon.
But of course, if you want to be critical, then Curious should still find it because he has speed.
Yeah. Curious actually expanding in a cheeky location here, trying to trick SOS a little bit.
If I'm SOS right now, I start worrying about my rocks immediately. Look at that, he's even taking the extractor. He's really giving SOS the idea that he's trying to destroy the rocks. If I'm SOS right now, I'm in panic mode. Well, SOS is not. SOS is like, yeah, sure,
He's in such panic that he wants to expand.
I guess he saw there was no spawning pool yet, so he's not too worried. Spawning pool will go down eventually, though. Did he cancel the extractor?
Yeah.
I mean, see, Curious tried to sell a convincing story. He had me, Todd, I believe.
But you know what's funny? SOS doesn't even care. He's just going to play Protoss and win anyway.
And SOS will find the hatchery.
He's going to follow up Scout, I think, probably as well. Because now he confirmed what that hatchery went down. And he's headed straight back for the main. He's going to see that there is no extractor and be like, oh, you cheeky guy. I see right through you.
Yeah, that's such a great scout there for SOS. Now he knows that he's playing as double hatch, but it's going to be slow links forever. So SOS has all the freedom in the world to just chrono boost out probes. Could be a Stargate play. I kind of like Stargate plays on Bridgehead. I think it works pretty well in general. We could see something wild from SOS. SOS is definitely the type of Protoss that will make one Oracle and then also drop 7 or 8 gates and just go all in from it, which is still a very scary build to deal with if you're Zerg.
We've seen actually SOS last time he played against Solar in the grand finals over the tournament in Seattle that we were casting. I think it was first map. He took a third base, stayed on 46 probes, dropped down, I think it was something like 7 or 8 gateways, and then did a full ground attack. Especially, it was in a series where Solar had been anticipating DTs to come at some point. So now he's already used a bunch of DTs. He might be hoping that Curious anticipates they might be coming and do this same kind of timing. Yeah, that was kind of a bizarre game because this is one of the maps where the double Roach Warren play is very popular among Zerg players, and that's of course because of those backdoor rocks that Franka already showed us a couple times. You know, we've seen it before. Double Roach Warren is phenomenal against Protoss builds with a very, very late robotics facility. That's just the way it is. It can work very well for you. And Solar tried to do that against SOS, but SOS just ran across the map and he's like, ha, I've got a bunch of Blink Stalkers and I can micro better than you. And on that occasion, he did.
Of course, it's a little bit unfair when your units blink and your opponent can't blink, but still.
I can micro better than you. Your units don't move. Oh, that is cool. Pulling the probes like this is really going to make Curious even more paranoid.
What did you just cancel that, huh?
A pylon, I think?
Yeah, because it was 75 minerals, but I wonder why.
I think he was trying to block the links from going past,
okay.
so that they would go in his mineral line, and then SOS pull the probes, kill those links, and right now it's looking very suspicious. I think SOS is doing what I was talking about, trying to force spores.
7.
And he's going to go for a gateway attack.
7 gates. This time it's not going to be any blink stalkers, no big upgrades on forges whatsoever. It's just going to be a straight up 7 gate. There is something on the north side of the map. Can we take a look at it? Crouching probe, hidden pylon.
7 gateways, lucky number 7, just like Nathanias.
Why
Can he pull it off?
Why is Nathanias lucky number 7?
He's the 7th best host. He said it himself.
No. He's top 3 in my book, though.
Yeah, just like Huck is.
Yeah, exactly.
Roach Shrine's going down. Curious seems to know what's going on here.
I actually don't think defending with roaches is even ideal in this scenario, Todd. Of course, you want to have roaches eventually, but having Zergling speed is also very, very useful, and he's not going to have Zergling speed.
It's the Roddy build!
Yeah, so how are you going to deal? Okay, that one creep tumor is very, very useful, by the way. Killing the probe, and the pylon would be so massive, but he's not going to get the pylon.
There's no way we'll get the pylon with slow links.
Oh, man.
The Roddy build, you've been hyping it up for years. It never happened. There it is. Well, actually, it's even more gateways.
Yeah, it's a little different, but the idea behind it is the same, right? Zerg has no roach speed yet, and Zergling speed is very late. So Stalkers can kite roaches for days.
There's even going to be a time warp.
Yeah, there's one saving grace for SOS here, or excuse me, for Curious, and that's that one creep tumor that gives him hope.
Yeah, but the kiting is going to be insane from SOS the whole time. He's going to start chipping away at that hatchery in a second. Even chases this drone because he sees that there is no units just yet for Curious. If he can kill all of those units here, right now, whatever comes out is going to be by itself here. For Curious behind this, and speed just seems so far away from finishing.
And there we go, Todd. That time warp that you mentioned, Zergling speed is still only halfway done. A lot of links get picked off. A couple of Zealots will be wiped in. One Stalker does go down, though. It's that creep, though. The creep allows the roaches to get a couple of additional shots off.
Yeah, the launch pad, man.
Yeah, the launch pad. So far, Curious is still in this one. Mothership Core goes down as well. He has to micro against these Zealots. A couple of Overlords will get sniped. But speed is actually about to finish up. Is Curious holding this, Todd?
Yeah, he might be able to here. SOS is on 31 probes against 36 drones. This is an all-in. He needs to do more damage. He gets surrounded. Curious, closing in on the Stalkers. He needs to pull back here for now, but he's going to be reinforcing very quickly.
Most important creep tumor of the century, man. That really allowed those roaches to do so much better against the Stalkers and the Zealots, and bought enough time for Zergling speed. Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world right now. Just micro them back, send the roaches forward. He's picking up these Zealots one by one. SOS should really emphasize Stalkers a little bit more, because he needs the Stalkers to deal with these roaches.
Yeah, the thing is, if he gets too many Stalkers, the links that are going to come in, they are going to be really annoying to deal with. SOS is having to pull back right now. He's on the ropes. He's right next to his pylon. Curious is trying to equalize the score here, and it looks like he might be able to hold against this attack here from SOS.
Wow, what a phenomenal hold by Curious, doing so well, having all these queens still alive as well. The only mistake were those Overlords. A couple of Overlords were misrallied, but we're going to close our eyes on that one, because this was an absolutely great hold. I thought he was in so much trouble. When I saw the creep tumor, I was like, okay, there is hope, but still, it was so difficult.
SOS starts pro production. I think he realizes that this is just not going to work. With Queens and Roaches being already out from Curious, he knows that there's going to be more units on their way in a second. So he starts pro production, starts the Mothership Core, and SOS, I wouldn't be surprised if he started a Robo here in a second.
Yes, the desperation Robo. When the first all-in fails, try again with a couple of Immortals and a Warp Prism. Because that's how we do it. We play Protoss. Oh, sentries, be careful with those roaches, Curious. Oh, man.
SOS didn't have enough just yet. He needs to go back to the next bridge.
Well, if those sentries were like 1 inch closer and he would have been able to cut off 3 roaches, then I think it would have been a very good trade. He is indeed going to go for the next bridge, and I don't think Curious is going to follow, because now he did actually see those sentries.
Lair is not going to start here by Curious. A nice hold here. Didn't make any big mistakes, didn't overdrone. Now SOS is ahead in probes, though. And from there, he can just go into a Forge, Robo.
He's ahead in probes, but he's down a base and he's down in tech. Because what is he working with right now, Todd? Just gateways. I mean, he has a lot of them, that's great, but it's still just gateways.
Yeah, the best Protoss building there is.
That's true. Mothership Core starts chipping away at a couple of these roaches and links. It's awesome for Curious to just take care of these rocks. He doesn't have to go in right now, he doesn't have to commit, but just taking out the rocks would already be great, because then you can always send in a couple of Zerglings later on.
No Robo just yet, right?
No, it's a Forge.
I think SOS was really worried there would be some kind of counter-attack here, and he knew that for Curious it's very hard to go into Burrow right now, and even if he went into Burrow, there wouldn't be tunneling clouds just yet. But look at this, Burrow starts just now. Curious, he could just go into Glial Reconstitution and then immediately he go into tunneling clouds behind it if he wanted. Drone up along the way, take a fourth. Or even, do you think he can commit to aggression and only make units from there?
I think as long as SOS is on 2 bases, you don't really have to do anything if you're curious.
He's getting spores!
yeah, he's worried. I mean, I don't blame him for that. When behind, you know, SOS knows how to make a Dark Shrine.
Oh, an Oracle.
I think SOS is just going to try to make another massive gateway attack with a couple of sentries. He has gathered up quite a bit of energy and he's just going to go for it. But here comes that counterattack. That's why it's so nice to take care of these rocks.
The floodgates are open, Roddy.
Even though SOS helped him a little bit with that. But this cannon is not even done yet. There will be photon overcharge though, but these links can just run into the main base, Todd. Pylon.
Curious needs to be careful with the main chunk of his army here because force fields are threatening. Curious going to be headed straight for the man of SOS here, who I don't think is particularly ready. The army supply is pretty even.
But there is Burrow.
Force fields going to be so important.
Yeah, force fields are going to be awesome over here, but there is Burrow and there is no detection, so it should be very hard for SOS to eventually kill all these roaches.
Wow. He killed so much just before Burrow finished.
Yeah, but he also burned a lot of his energy, right? He has a couple of additional force fields, but there we go. And even if he takes out a couple drones here, maybe even the hatchery, he needs to do more than that. He needs to pretty much kill Curious here. Supply-wise, it's very close though. SOS is actually ahead in army.
Yeah, this army is just looking massive right now for SOS. Burrow or not, you can hide on the ground. It's not going to make you win the fight, Curious. There is Guardian Shield here to work with. He's trying to evacuate now. Curious, if he has to leave this base,
okay, going for the big, going for the big surround. Not a whole lot of force fields available anymore, and a lot of Zerglings are about to hatch. These roaches need to get closer, man. They need to get on top of these stalkers, and not all of them are shooting at once. This might be a moment to burrow and just wait for all those links to hatch.
Mothership's going to be getting right in there as well. And SOS somehow,
I'm actually speechless,
finds a way through some great force field to deal with this third base, kill all the drones that were there, all 23 other drones, and he's taking care of the rest of the Curious army right now.
Very well executed attack there by SOS. He just keeps making these attacks that normally don't really make sense, right? After your first gateway attack fails, you're not supposed to just do it again. After your first cannon rush fails, you're not supposed to just cannon again. Well, he does it, and right on the moment when Curious is getting ready for the next phase in this game, SOS hits, and he hits very hard, and the roaches, you know, there's just not enough of them anymore.
I mean, yeah, Curious is just down to his last few units here, probably in total disbelief. He had a lot of roaches, he had Burrow.
Look at the gas, Todd. He has 13 gas, he has 1,400 roaches. Imagine if he would have, oh, excuse me, 1,400 roaches. That's very scary. That's what Protoss nightmares are made of. 1,400 minerals. He could produce so many roaches of that if he just had a little bit more gas to work with.
Yeah, Curious is trying to hang in there, but not being allowed to mine from this one base here right now. His income is just going to be minimal. 72 army supply to 53. Was never allowed to start tunneling clouds. He's going to be going right in there for last attempt at the final stance, but SOS has just got too much. He's got a pylon as well to reinforce.
A series that sums up SOS in a nutshell, as it's a little bit of everything, and GG is called. SOS will advance to the semi-finals of the DreamHack Stockholm Open, and he did it in a way that only he could do. GG indeed. What a guy, Todd. What a player.
Look at Saiso in complete disbelief here. SOS's performance.
I think even SOS is in a little bit of disbelief. How about two of those games played out? You know, Iron Fortress with the filled cannon rush, and then this game as well on Bridgehead. I'm very curious to see what the man has to say about this series himself as he's on the stage with Jeff.
Ooh, Kevin says he's curious to hear what you have to say. The puns till the end. SOS. First up, I want, you know, the cannon rush, incredibly tenacious cannon rush. I want to ask, is there some poor soul out there that is your practice partner for cannon rushes, or is this just something you spread around to everyone?
레더 게임에서 저그전을 많이 하다 보면 저그가 15 앞마당을 먹는 경우가 굉장히 많아요. 그래서 좀 한번 취소하면 상대도 방심하기 때문에 그 점을 노려서 역으로 캐논 러쉬를 다시 했던 것 같아요.
So play a lot on ladder, and when I meet Zerg on ladder, then usually Zerg expand around 15. So usually do cannon rush, and when they manage to defend it, then they usually let the guard down. So I did it again, usually, and actually wins a lot because of that.
Okay, very good. It felt like in a lot of these games, the commentators were going on and on about how you kind of got behind and then went to plan B, and this is something you're even talking about just now. Did you ever feel in the games, oh, this is it, I'm done here, or did you kind of always know that with your army control you would come back?
마지막 경기 같은 경우에도 제가 거의 졌다고 생각했었어요. 그래서 그냥 마지막 5세트 빌드 뭐 할지 생각할 겸 그냥 러시 갔는데 운 좋게 이기더라고요. 그래서 저도 지금 왜 이겼는지 잘 모르겠어요.
So last minute I thought I was going to lose. So I was thinking, oh, what build I should do on game 5. And so as a last minute I did it all in, and luckily I won. I don't know how either, so I'm quite confused as well.
Yeah, we are too. So next up you have either Solar or Snoot. I believe you've played Solar recently at MSI, and Snoot, I don't know of the last time you played, but both are Zerg. Do you have really high confidence that this tournament is yours to win now, or do you still think there's someone out there that can beat you?
저는 항상 저그전이 예전에는 자신 있었는데 요즘은 별로 자신 없는 편이긴 한데 그래도 다전제니까 저는 다전제에서 희망을 가지고 항상 했기 때문에 충분히 할 만하다고 생각해요.
So yeah, before I was quite confident when I met Zerg, but recently my confidence fell quite a lot when I met Zerg. But actually I think I have a good chance to win this one.
All right, guys. SOS, everybody. Thank you, SOS. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, our next set.